Hello again everybody, and welcome back. In this video clip we'll have a look at the equipment that's needed to make votive candles. I'll demonstrate how to use them later on. There are items that will be readily available to you in your kitchen. We'll look at things that are optional, things that are necessary, those that are crucial, and specific items that you may wish to buy that lead to greater efficiency and save time. Firstly, you'll need containers. Now, these need to be made specifically for burning candles and are of thick, heavy-duty glass. It probably goes without saying, but making candles in glass which is too thin could cause it to crack and potentially be dangerous. I bought 72 of these. You don't need so many, but making large batches works for me. These cost £58. But they're a one-time purchase and are used over and over again. The next thing you'll need is a heat source to melt the wax. Your cooker hob is fine for this. On my first attempt, I put some into a saucepan on the hob and found this to be a terrific way of scorching the pan, producing incredibly hot wax, filling the kitchen with fumes and setting off the smoke detector and fire alarm. The problem was the temperature of the wax was too hot. So I contacted the research and development team, which consists of my wife, and we came up with a cunning plan. A, that I should immediately remove myself from the house into the garage, and B, buy a camping stove like this one, which is portable. I then learned that a better and more gentle way to melt the wax is by using the double boiler method. To do this, a saucepan has some simmering water in the bottom and gently heats a smaller pan which contains the wax. Some of you may have used this technique when cooking, for instance when melting chocolate. As the wax melts, a long-handled spoon is useful to stir it. There are stainless steel ones, but a wooden one works really well. Long tweezers made for people with aquariums are perfect to remove old wicks and any debris from the melted wax. When the wax has melted, you'll need to transfer it from the saucepan into a jug in order that it's easy to pour into the containers. A plastic one bought at the local supermarket has its advantages in that it's inexpensive and has a great pouring spout. The disadvantage is that when you pour wax into it, which hasn't cooled sufficiently, allegedly you hear a crackling noise as the pot reduces in size as it's melted by the hot wax. I mean, would I do anything as silly as that? It's important then that the wax is cooled to the correct temperature before pouring, not only into a jug like this, but also into the glass containers. To make sure the wax is at the correct temperature, a thermometer is a crucial piece of equipment. This is mine, and it has a dial that shows the temperature, and it also clips to the side of the saucepan or pot. A better way to carry out the melting process is to buy an aluminium candle melting pot like these. They're used rather than the saucepan and cuts out transferring the wax into a jug for pouring. A trivet comes in handy to put the pan or pot on when you remove it from the saucepan, and when pouring the wax, a sieve or tea strainer is useful to strain debris. Muslin is useful in order to catch the really small particles. Now, even better than the double boiler method is the candle melter specifically made for the job. They cost from about £40 upwards. Here's mine, and I can melt up to 5 litres of wax at any given time. It has a thermostat as well as a tap on the front, and it's portable. So when you're banished from the when you decide to work in the garage, it's easy to move around. Just remember to have the tap in the closed position when melting the wax. Long nose pliers are used to prepare the wicks. Scissors are required to cut wicks to the correct length, and of course you'll need a lighter. A long nose one like this is perfect. Labels are needed when testing different waxes and wicks. I use Decorator's masking tape, which is inexpensive, and electrician's tape is also useful for labelling. This small tool is used to dip the wick into the wax, which is by far the best way to extinguish container candles. And wick snippers are used to trim the wicks. Now, whether you make candles or simply enjoy burning them in your home, these again are a crucial piece of equipment and should be used all the time. When cleaning containers, oven gloves, rubber gloves are needed, and tongs are really useful. Having a notebook is also a good idea to record the trials and tribulations. Here's a random entry from mine. Please don't be a Fruit Loop and drop hot wax all over the kitchen again. Signed, the research and development team. Oh, okay. Just put that over there. Now, you might not have imagined that a saw would be used in candle making. You won't often need it. However, for cutting up the large candles, it's the best tool to use. I wouldn't advise using an angle grinder unless you want to cover the drive, fence, and next door neighbour's lawn in wax. It goes without saying that the most important piece of equipment in all of this is a mug in which large quantities of tea and coffee with biscuits should be supplied on a regular basis by the research and development team. She's just left the room. You just can't get the staff.